Welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. We are playing humans in Modern, and this time we are running up against Bogles. This is our opening hand. We don't have any blue mana to cast Meddling Mage or any black mana to cast Council Freebooter, which could be problematic. I'm not sure if we keep this or not. Looks like I decided to run with it. Slightly risky. At least with a Glade Cover Scout, which leaves it no doubt as to what they're doing. We are very lucky, so we draw Cavern of Souls, and now we can cast all our spells. So that's good. Although there are multiple lands that would have been good in this situation, in fairness. Cartouche of Solidarity, if that's how you pronounce it. Makes a 1/1 Vigilance and pumps up the Scout. Griffspoon makes it a 3/2 Third Striking Flyer. All in. Play the Plains here because we don't want to take any unnecessary damage if we can avoid it. Council Freebooter comes down. Hoping to snag an enchantment here. Path to Exile is also good. So opponent's only got one card, so we're kind of hoping they don't. Oh yeah, no. That's exactly what we were hoping they didn't do. So yeah, our opponent ends up just dropping Daybreak Coronet. So that actually was the decision on the previous turn. I am taken back to this match now. Yeah, so the decision was I could either play Council Freebooter and actually just take the card that they have, or alternatively I could have Meddling Maged and named Daybreak Coronet. As it turns out, it wouldn't have mattered either way, I guess, because if we played the Meddling Mage, they would have pathed and then played Daybreak Coronet. So I actually think playing the Freebooter was probably better. And obviously if they already had Daybreak Coronet in hand, we could have taken that. But yeah, it's worked out fairly badly for us. And yeah, our opponent, there's just no real way of us getting back from this, because obviously Meddling Mage is not very effective when the opponent already has the card you don't want them to play in play, and we can't really do anything meaningful. Like Reflector Mage isn't going to be able to bounce it, and we just don't really have any good answers. So once they've put this together, there isn't really a lot we can do. So let's go to the sideboard and see what options we have there. Okay, so our deck's not terribly well set up against Bogles. Certainly not main deck. Post board, we get access to Deputy of Detention and the Knight of Autumns, which is good, pretty good. I mean, obviously we still don't really have like any Edict effects or any ways to like wipe the board, so we are in a bit of a struggle, but at least we've got reasonable answers to Daybreak Coronet, which is kind of the killer card in the matchup, and ways to disrupt their enchantments. So those are the main cards we want to bring in. Reflector Mages want to come out for sure. And in terms of other cards that we want to get rid of, I mean, everything's fairly good. Thalia can slow them down. Mantis Rider can potentially fly over them. So yeah, I think we want to take out the 4 Reflector Mages, bring in Knight of Autumns and the Deputies, and then cut a card somewhere. Potentially an Image, I guess, because everything else seems reasonable. Or maybe one of the Buglers, perhaps, given the matchup is likely to be fairly fast. Okay, so here we are for game 2 against Bogles. This is a 1-lander, but it could turn out pretty nicely if we draw the second land. So first turn champion, then we've got Freebooter, which can take an enchantment from their hand. And then we've got Knight of Autumn, which can destroy an enchantment if we need. And then Phantasmal Image, which can copy either of those as we need. But I decided it was too risky, so yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fast game, so we ended up mulliganing, and yeah, we couldn't afford to not draw that second land. I mean, that hand could have turned out really nicely, but this is a fairly good mulligan. We're going to end up with 2 Knight of Autumns. See a Phantasmal Image on top, which I think we're going to keep on there, because potentially we can just Knight of Autumn 3 times in a row, which is going to be pretty good. Something is Boggle, which is unsurprising. Decided not to run out Thales Lieutenant. I mean, I suppose we could have done, because it's going to grow. Well, actually, it doesn't grow, because Knight of Autumn is not a human, which is a good thing to remember, which I often forget as well. So Knight of Autumn isn't a human, it's a Dryad Knight. So, in terms of things like Cavern and Unclaimed Territory, they can't, if you choose human, you can't make the coloured mana. So you just need to keep that in mind when you're playing the deck. The same goes for Deputy of Attention, who's a Vidalcan Wizard. So you do just need to be careful of that from time to time. I'll play Spirit Mantle, which isn't terribly scary, but does mean that our opponent can probably block anything, and we can't block the Boggle. So I think we're just going to play Knight here, blow up the Spirit Mantle, see where we get to. Opponent plays Ethereal Armor and then Daybreak Coronet. So they're going to swing in for 6 here. Fortunately, we do have the answer that we need here. So I'm going to play Phantasmal Image, copying the Knight of Autumn. And here, what we want to do, instead of blowing up the Daybreak Coronet, we blow up the Ethereal Armor. The reason for that is Daybreak Coronet can't enchant anything that doesn't have another aura on it. So if there's only one other aura on Daybreak on a creature that is enchanted with Daybreak Coronet, if you blow up the other aura, Daybreak Coronet will then fall off, like so. And the reason we play the Phantasmal Image over just a regular Knight of Autumn is that we can play a Vial this turn as well, and we're going to be able to attack for 2. That's another Ethereal Armor. And the Spirit Mantle. I guess attack for 4 here, which we can't block. Gets to take up Vial. Attack for 4. And I'm going to cast Knight of Autumn and blow up the Ethereal Armor here. Maybe we should have blown up the Spirit Mantle, because then at least we have some chance of blocking. But I mean, we've got through a lot of things. We've blown up 3 enchantments here. Cracks a Horizon Canopy, plays Spider Umbra, and then has a Daybreak Coronet. So, yeah, it was not great. So despite drawing fairly well in the terms of that we got a load of answers to auras, we just ended up getting Daybreak Coroneted a second time, which is pretty nasty. We would have hoped, I mean, our opponent drew fairly well in this situation, I guess. We would have hoped for better, but yeah, this matchup seems kind of rough, to be honest. Not one that we're well set up for. We do have some answers, but it can still end up being a tricky game, as you can see here. And yeah, not a matchup I like for our deck.